Hey, welcome to Free PMO.
Mhm.
Today we're looking into something you actually brought up, that feeling, that kind of persistent, never good enough feeling at work.
Mhm.
We found this interesting article that, well, it explores how these feelings might trace back, maybe even to our childhoods.
Right. And that's the goal for this deep dive, isn't it? To
Yeah.
sort of unpack that connection.
Exactly. Understand it and maybe find some, practical ways you can start to address it.
Absolutely. Because understanding how those feelings of inadequacy at work might echo earlier stuff,
Mm.
that's the first step. We want to make that link clearer and offer some, well, actionable ideas.
Okay, so this article,
Mm-hmm.
it talks about what it almost calls a self-doubt syndrome,
Uh-huh.
where the anxieties we feel now at work, like, endlessly tweaking a presentation or always feeling like the underdog,
Right.
might
Yeah.
connect back to patterns set way earlier in childhood.
And it draws some really fascinating parallels. Like, think about being a kid, right? And maybe sensing a parent is in a bad mood.
Oh,
What's often the immediate gut reaction for a child? What did I do wrong? We tend to sort of internalize it.
right. The
Yeah.
article uses that example, doesn't it? This guy, Jake, as a kid, if his mom was upset, he just assumed he was the cause, like the world's worst troublemaker.
Exactly. And that brings us to this idea of childhood blame. From a psychological angle, kids often do blame themselves for, harsh treatment or just negativity from parents.
Why, though? Is it about control?
Well, the article suggests it is partly about that, a need for control. Like, if I'm the problem, then maybe, just maybe, I can change my behavior and earn back the love or approval. It's almost a coping strategy.
Okay. That Jake example really clicks then, because now, as an adult,
Yeah.
when his boss gives him feedback, even constructive feedback, that old feeling kicks in. He hears it as, see, I knew I messed up again, like confirmation.
It really shows how deep those early scripts can run, doesn't it? And a key thing the article points out here is often negative things at work aren't even about us personally.
Right, like the boss just being tired or stressed about something totally different.
Precisely. But we misinterpret it as a reflection on our performance, just like little Jake misreading his mom's mood.
Okay, so it's not always our fault,
Mm-hmm.
which leads to another point in the article, these workplace misattributions.
Yes. That tendency when a project hits a snag or doesn't go perfectly to immediately think, this must be down to me.
It's my fault, yeah.
But, if you actually look closer, the article argues that setbacks at work are often more about, say, team dynamics or maybe resource issues or...
It's just external factors, really. Things outside any one person's control.
Exactly. It challenges that knee-jerk self-blame.
Okay, this is making a lot of sense.
Okay.
But then, what do? If we recognize this pattern, how do we break it? The article gives some advice, right?
It does, and it's quite practical. It addresses that moment, when that not good enough feeling starts bubbling up.
Yeah. What's the tip?
It basically suggests taking just a quick pause, like 3 seconds. And in that pause, ask yourself, hang on, is this feeling really about this specific situation right now? Or am I dragging in some of that old, childhood baggage?
I like that. Just creating that tiny bit of space to question where the feeling is coming from.
Mm-hmm. And then the crucial next step is shifting your energy. Instead of getting stuck in that self-doubt loop, channel that energy into problem solving. Like, okay, if the boss seems unhappy, don't just assume it's you. Maybe clarify expectations.
Or if a project's stalled.
Yeah. Don't just beat yourself up. Brainstorm with the team. Find solutions. It's about acting on the present reality, not reacting based on past feelings.
So the core message, really, it feels quite empowering, actually. It's about starting to own your actual worth now, believing in your abilities today.
Exactly. Don't let those old narratives from childhood dictate how you see yourself or your work right now.
Okay. So wrapping this up, we've kind of explored how these really early experiences, maybe surprisingly, can still shape how adequate or inadequate we feel at work today.
Right. That tendency to take the blame, to misread situations.
Yeah.
But just becoming aware of that pattern, as we've discussed, that's a huge first step.
It really is. And maybe, for everyone listening, here's something to think about. Consider those moments at work where you feel that inadequacy most strongly. Just notice them.
Mm-hmm.
Could there be echoes, even faint ones, of past experiences coloring how you perceive that situation? And maybe more importantly, what's just one small thing, one tiny step you could try this week to challenge that automatic self-blame? To focus instead on understanding what's actually going on in the present moment, something to mull over. Thanks for exploring this with us today.